Greetings, Minecrafters! Nonsanity here, and welcome to another episode of All the Mods 9 to the Skies. Okay. I have been busy getting things ready for this one. And one of the things I did is I cleaned up my main standing place here. The place I come to when I'm not standing anywhere specifically. I changed my AE2 setup. I originally was going to build it hanging up here, but it was really ugly. So I hid it underneath. And I've expanded it quite a bit. A number of you have originally found me from my AE2 channel tutorial. And for those of you who did, this sort of setup might look a little familiar. Not the whole thing, but how I'm using my tunnels here. So, what have we got? Give you the overview, spin around here, and then we'll look in close. I've got two ME controllers. Don't go making a giant cube of the things unless you're doing it for decoration or willing to pay the power, the cost that each of these blocks continuously draws, whatever that is in the pack you're playing. I just use what I need. In this case, two is probably enough. I can add a third down here later if I need to. But for right now, two is good. That gives me 10 faces, so 320 channels. Will I need more than 320 machines? The way I use AE2, probably not. But if I do, I can add more. One of the things I was deliberately didn't talk about, and in fact avoided in my channel tutorial, was the idea of mixing your transport network with your data network. So here we've got the controllers, and we've got dense cable attached to their faces, and that means you can use the full 32 channels on that dense cable. If a dense cable is not eventually touching the face of an ME controller, then you cannot use all 32 channels in it. You can only use 8, just like a regular cable. So a dense cable has to touch a side, and then it's a separate 32 channels from everywhere else. So once they're activated by touching a cube, they've got the channels. Regular cables only carry 8. So out of the top here, I've got a blue dense cable coming out, and it splits 4 ways. If you notice, I've got cable coming out of every side. There's nowhere for power to go in. So I just have a energy acceptor up here connected to the network. It could be anywhere on the network, and it's got power coming in. And then over here, I've got that same dense energy cell just as a sort of a capacitor, and a little battery in the system to hold on to its own AE power to tide it through the slow spots. So I got blue coming out the top, and it's spreading out in 4 directions, and it comes down and connects to the backs of these P2P tunnels. And then into the front of them, we've got all these colored dense cables going in. So both sides of the P2P tunnel are on the same network. That can get confusing, which is why I avoided it in the channel description. But I wanted to show that, it is possible. And it does have some advantages in that anywhere on this blue network, I could both create a P2P tunnel and use a P2P tunnel. Like I could have a P2P tunnel coming out here and have this cable going off coming out with 32 new channels. I only need like 8 over here. Let me see. 6. I only need 6. So, and then the 7th one is from this I/O port. So that's 7 coming down this cable, and then 2 more from this. So we got a total of 9 going into the center. Over here, I've got the dense cable branching 2 channels are used for these 2 drives, and 2 more over here for these 2 drives. And then I have a little T of smaller cable up here with the pattern access terminal, crafting terminal, and pattern encoding terminal. And I'm using anchors to sort of separate them, just so I can clearly see that this pipe, this dense cable is just doing the 2 channels of the drives, and this one's doing 2, and that's doing 3, total of 7. Adding these 2, 9, so that's 9 coming in there. This side, I've got a bunch of my manual machines, induction smelter, pulverizer, alloy smelter, and the netherite furnace. So nothing else is attached to this, so it just has the 2 channels of the P2P tunnels. And the back likewise just has P2P tunnels. If you see, this has got a solid gray band in the middle where it connects to the energy acceptor. Same is true for the energy cell on that side. That means it's just power connection. There's no data. This doesn't use a channel. And then I've got 4 for the danks and 1 more over here that's feeding the prediction matrix maker for the hostile neural networks. And they're coming in. Like I said, I could put a P2P out tunnel here and have all these coming off of one of these colored cables. And I would switch to using a colored cable of the same color for that. Now, most of these are not in use. In fact, I think, yeah, if these little squares are solid white, then they are not currently in use. Only this one down here has been assigned colors. And you do that by, where is it? Where is it? I know it's in here. There it is. Memory card. Now I'm holding it in my hand. If you notice, it's got the same pattern of colors that this does. Lime, pink, white. And you can pick that up by crouch right-clicking the P2P tunnel. When you do that, it'll assign colors. So if I were to crouch right-click that one right now, it would assign colors, and the one in my hand will get the same colors. But I want to keep it assigned to this one because we're going to set that up somewhere else. And then the white cable coming down off the bottom goes to some of these extended AE mod wireless connectors. Only one of them is lit up. I will show you that one in a moment. The others are just for future use. I've got some crafting units with the 256K crafting storage and a crafting monitor, which you can see from the front. I don't need 4 right now. I think I will only have one thing that's only one crafting card in my entire network, so they're not heavily used, but I figured I will use them eventually, so I might as well make them. And then I've got 3 more quantum rings. I still have the one up there on the floor that is powering my wireless access terminal here, which is now a universal, and I'll show you that in a bit. These 3 are for getting AE into hyperboxes. You can pipe regular items and fluids probably into the sides of a hyperbox, but it turns out it doesn't support AE cable, so you can't run an AE signal into them. That would be nice. Compact machines could back in the day. So the only way to get network in there is to build one quantum ring out here, one in there, and then make some more quantum entangled singularities by blowing up a singularity with some ender pearl, getting a pair of these match ones, and put one in here and one in the other quantum ring in the other dimension. And then they connect up. Only the center edge ones can be connected with cable, not the corners, either top or side. But these can be connected top or side. So that is the AE system. And like I said, these are still have their storage buses on the danks, and they're still set to a really high priority. I did run that extra bit of cable up here, and that's keeping these all fed. It's just making so many. I've got like 25,000 of each type or so. I did go in and I put acceleration cards. I haven't upgraded them like I said. This is fine since it was running overnight. I got so many. I will eventually here just shut it down by breaking the cable. In fact, let's do something here. Let's see, AE2, and I want a toggle bus. This is a bit of ME cable that, let's get a nice switch. I like the switches better. Minecraft needs more types of switches and such. So I've got it coming up here. If I break that, place, I guess I didn't need to break it, but there it is. That's in the wrong block. Let me get my crouch right click to pick that up, and this time we'll just put it there. So now it's, you can see it's in that space. So if I power this, nope, it would have to be, okay, take it off down there and we'll put it right there. I could put the switch here and go click. That should have turned it off. Well, the toggle bus isn't working right. I used one in a different build and it worked just fine. Huh, all right. Did I get the wrong E2? So that's the inverted one, which needs, yeah, just craft it to invert it. Oh, now they just went offline. All right. Device online. Okay, so that one's working for some reason. Maybe they were working and I just didn't see it working. That's possible. See, when I do that, it'll shut it down. Okay, it takes a moment to register. That's all. Of course, these things have so many upgrades in them that it'll be running for a while. But I think I'll shut it down and let them run out because I've got enough. I may put downgrades in here just so it holds a little bit. Anyway, what else? I went and made an enchantment library. This is pretty nice because I've got this chest that's getting all the stuff from the fisher. There's a fishing rod and it's gone. I'm doing a pipe out with no filter. This trash can has its filter. It's whitelisting leather boots, fishing rods, and bows. So those just get trashed. And the only other things that can come out of here are enchanted books, and they go into the enchantment library. And they just basically all get stored here. So like I've got 2,432 holding levels. So I can make a, so I click that multiple times. One more. Okay, so I've got a holding 5 book, and I can just put it back in. So I've got a lot of spells here. This could also have been a useful way to get the the mystical agriculture, mystical enlightenment. Though it only seems to go up to 3. Next level unavailable. Can I get another 3? Yes. So I can combine those to make a 4. But it only goes up to 3. So you can save some effort and do that. Though making this required a little bit of effort using sea shelves. Yeah, this is the apotheosis. Lets you have more than the usual 15 bookshelves. And these sea shelves give you some extra points up there in the tooltip. Eterna 1.5 and Arcana 2. The regular bookshelves just do 1 of Eterna. And this configuration with 16 sea shelves, and let's see, 1, 2, 3, 6, 15. Yeah, so I got 15, the regular ones. And that, I won't show you here, but if I look at it, Eterna 22.5, Quanta 15, Arcana 12. Those are the numbers I needed. Well, I needed at least 10 in Arcana, but 12 was acceptable. It had to be over 10. But those let you make the library, because you need the enchanted. I went with the infused sea shelves. So I made 4 more of the sea shelves. And it needs 22.5, 15, and 10. So if I enchant those here, then the enchanting would make them the enchanted version, and you need 4 of those to make that thing. This hasn't changed. That hasn't changed. Oh, if you notice, I did change the floor. This is now level floor, not lower floor, which makes these all flush, which is fine. Sort of like that. Still haven't decided what I'm going to do for decorating. This is the most decorating I've got so far. And I sort of like these. I mean, they used to support the AE2 system, but now I just sort of like them for decoration. All right. Oh, yeah, and I made, as you saw, more drives. So I got lots of drives. With all these processors, I can make tons of these. And they're all 256K. Didn't bother going any higher than that. I always can if I want to later, but for now, this is just fine. All right, so we've got 2 more mods that we need to dive into, and I have them here. Let's do, which one first? This one's more fun. Ars Magica. Rook. I decorated it just with some Ars colors. And we've got 3, 1, 2, 3 project chests in here. So let's start with this one. Get all the stuff out of it. This is an elevator block. If we come down below, I have already set up the quantum link chamber. This is one of the ones that I showed before. It's linked to the outside world. So I've got the white cable coming off of it. And it's gone dark again. Anyway, you can see it's got 1 channel in use, and it's got, oh, no, it looks fine. Let's see what's wrong. Oh, of course it's dark, because there's nothing. Yeah, device online. It's working. I had a problem when I moved this Hyperbox. I broke it, picked it up, put it down where you saw it. And I had to go and break both ends of this P2P tunnel. And then it worked. But this was all device offline. It's online right now because there's nothing attached to it. We're going to set that up. Anyway, so yeah, I chose to use white. It doesn't have to be. It's colorless coming out of this thing. But I chose white because white is what's going into it. So it's on the white network. And then what's coming out is magenta, because I'm using the one that was attached to the magenta dense cable coming off of my controller. So I'm choosing to use the same colors, so it all makes sense. Again, this could be any color. The color gets washed when it goes to the P2P. But keeping it the same just makes it easier to keep track of. All right, so over here. First thing I want to set up is I want to start making gems. And the way we're going to do this is, I think, yeah, that's a cable facade right there. So if I put this down, it will connect through. That's got the cable down below. And on top of that, I'm going to place the imbuement chamber. Now this doesn't need any source to run. You can feed it lapis or amethyst, and it will generate the gems. So let's do that. Put down some amethyst and an output, and we're just going to use some item pipes. And we're going to pump out of here and pump into there, but notice I have this locked and empty. They're both locked, but I made sure that one's locked and empty, because as soon as I made this active pulling out, it would try and pull out whatever's in there. In other words, the amethyst, and stick amethyst in there, and it will just be cycling amethyst from one drawer to another. But by locking it first, nothing can go in there until this thing has created a source gem, and then I can click it and take it out, and we can, whoops. All right, there we go, just spit it up. Now I can place it in here, and now it is locked to that, and it'll only come out when it's done. And to speed it up, I'm going to, whoop, that's the wrong one, that one. You can also filter it, say only take out source gems. That just makes it a little cleaner in case this gets cleared for something. But there it goes. It's making source gems a little faster because I just gave it some time in a bottle. Now, okay, now it's going to slow down. It will be faster if you give it some source nearby. You can see it comes out of the source jar. Where did I get source? Let's go take a look at that. Step outside. And we're going to head into my original farm, because I've added something over here. 2 agronomic source links and a source jar in between them. And now, with all this growth, and you see all those particles going in, it is sucking up source and putting it in the jar. But where is that going? The jar is empty. I've got an import bus from AE2 because one of the mods adds an ability to digitize source. So that's coming through here, and I've got another one of my quantum link chambers set up over here. And now let's go back to, here we go. I've got a bunch of specialty drives in here, and I'm going to swap them like this. So I want to be able to see them now. So what have we got? This one up here is, I made a mega drive. I thought, let's make it big. So this is a 16 million mega drive. So much larger than the 256K. This is 16M. There's two sizes larger I could have gone, but I thought, hell, this is fine. And this is a storage cell for source. And that you can see it's filling up right now. And it's going to take it a long time to fill up because it can hold 1,600 buckets. I don't know if it uses millibuckets and buckets. 1.6 million, whatever it is. And it's only got 22,000. So, and it's been running overnight. So that's going to be filling up slowly. I also made the infinity water cell and infinity cobblestone cell. And the other two we will get to. Oh, this one's a fluid. You know fluids. There's nothing in it. I'm not using it for anything. Okay, so we've got source coming in. Even to make this extended drive, I had to do some enchanting. And we're going to be doing those things in here, setting them up for automation. But first we need to make this automated. And part of it is I want to keep this drawer full. So on this cable that's coming up here, we're going to do an export bus there. And if I grab... grab an amethyst and stick it in there. I was grabbing them out of there because I was just hitting its box. So that is now exporting amethyst into that drawer. We also want to import the end result. Can I get in here? And so we want an import bus there. And that'll just pull out all the source gems. There, they're going down. And we can speed things up because we got plenty of speed cards. Did I do that here too? Yeah, don't want to do that. All right, so now this is putting amethyst in. It's sucking it in, going out, and then back out to our system. But now let's get all that source, that yummy, yummy source we were creating. And we're going to set a export bus underneath this source jar. And I think I've got a source jar that's full here. Open up the export, pick up a full source jar, and right-click. And it even says, left-click sets the source jar in the filter, and right-click sets the source itself. So that is filling up with source. And that too can have some speed upgrades. And then we can pretty it up a little bit by slapping some of these on top. I'm going to have to break that to place that one. And then reconnect that. Can't put them in, they're full. Just toss them back in the system. And that is now a finished automation. It will continuously turn amethyst into source gems. Because I have 10 million amethyst. And it's still going up. It's going up way faster than this thing is going to put it down. So that number is going to never go down. It's just going to go up. I can have this run forever and make as many source gems as I want. I did make a slot for source gems in a dank, so I got 12,000 of them now. So yeah, this is going to go much faster because it's got the source going into it, and that source is also going to be going up. If I do source, yeah, I got 22 million source in the system. That's, I think, going to continue to go up even when I'm using it for this. All right, next project chest. This is a facade here. There's a cable that can come up in that spot. And this one, we're only going to be sucking the output back into the system. So import bus. There we go. And it can get speed upgrades. And we're also going to be outputting to a source jar. Though I should use the source jar to set it to source. And we can now, let's give that speed upgrades. And then cover it up. There we go. Over here we've got a drawer with source gems, but that's just going to be manually filled. And then we've got an imbuement chamber, and behind it, 3 arcane pedestals. Now this one is only minimally automated. Like I said, it automates the source and empties this back into our network. The rest of it is manual. So I've got a framed chest from the frame blocks down here. And if we take these 3 things and place them on these 3 pedestals and do the last bit of the automation, which, like over there, is setting that up like that, and I do that, blacklisting source gem, so it won't take out the source gem. Now you can see it's using the source and using these 3 things to tell it what to do, and it's getting imported into the system. But there you can see it's making air essence. And if I now right-click the air essence there, it can go through. So I could set up a bunch of these, one for each of the essences. These 3 things get you earth essence, these 3 things get you water essence, these 3 get you fire essence, and these things get you, what was it? Ah yes, manipulation essence. That is one of the things I needed to make, I think, for maybe? Ah yes, to make the source cell housing. I needed 2 of those. Some source gems and gold, and then a regular item housing. And to make those, it's just button, redstone, and clock on those back things, and you give it a source gem and some source, and out comes the essence. So this is one I can put in as many as I want, let it run, switch it to something else, let it run, and just get a bunch of those crafted up in advance for whenever I need them. And now those 2 are complete. And then here's our last one. This one's a bit more complicated because it's going to have recipes. And I am going to use AE2 to craft them. I only have 1 set up so far, but we'll see how it goes. Let's get everything out. So this one is going to be the enchanting apparatus. For that, it needs the arcane core, and then it sits on top. And then you need 8 arcane platforms. I've crafted them a second time to make them low. I like the looks of that. And now I'm going to use some Super Factory Manager. These are the inventory cables. And if I look down here, this, I can't get under there. That goes down below, so I'm going to place it like that. And bring it out and cover everything, like so. And just to make it look a little prettier, I'm going to stick some of these framed wall boards and hit it with some purple concrete. So that looks a little nicer now. That is all the upstairs wiring we need, though we do need the label gun. And as you can see, every one of these 9 blocks up here has been given a name. It's sort of hard to see unless I come up here. Platform 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and Enchanter in the middle. So I named all the platforms and named the Enchanter. Let's go downstairs. We also have an in and an out. Whoop. So there's all the cable. Now I've got 2 purple barrels. And then the just the Super Factory Manager in the middle. And I wonder where the, oh yeah, it's not a cable, it's this, the pattern provider. That goes there. I already made a processing pattern here, which will make the source cell housing. So that's the one recipe we needed to make the cell to make the source. In order to get this, I basically did it all manually, what we're doing with automation, but that's boring to watch. It's more fun to see the automated version. But I could take a whole bunch of jars, and I still have a whole bunch of jars for source in my inventory, or in my network. There's 4 more there, another one. Took them to the farm, just filled them up by hand without all the AE2, and then did all this by hand. Then I worked out how to automate it all. So I think that is, okay, no, we do need 2 pipes there. And then disconnect that, output here, and might as well give it a speed upgrade. All right. How do I have an extra arcane platform? Did I miss one? Oh, no, that's right. I took the one down in the back here so I could, whoop. There it is. If you notice, I still had the label in that spot. I'd already made all these labels. Basically, you click in the air, type in the name you want, like platform 0, and then you go over and you click platform 0. Let's do 7 because I think it's here in the front. No, let's do 4 because it's here in the front. This one. If I click it again, it goes away. And then click it, and it comes back. So even though I had torn everything down, all those labels in their places were still there. But they will not be in this manager. So now you need to take it down here and right-click it on the manager. Did it go? Oh, it won't go in until I give it a disk. Let's give it a disk. Now we can right-click it on the manager. Push labels to the manager. So now it knows all of these labels, and we can use them in our coding. And I can toss that away. So let's look at the program. It's sort of long, but that's just because they don't have a loop. So I'm doing the same thing. So what we do. So every 20 ticks 2, so this is just going to be constantly trying to do this. It's going to pull anything from the in object, which is this chest right here. If you type Control I, you can see the slot numbers for every slot. So 0 is the first one, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Control I again to make it go away. So I'm saying slots 1 through 9, which is everything except that first slot. Well, everything that we're likely to use. I could have given it a larger number there, but 9 is fine. 9 is a little bit extra. So it gets something from slots 1 through 9 and puts it on platform 0. Then it forgets what it was just doing. I could probably remove, let's try it. I think I can remove these lines. Instead of forgetting and grabbing again, we'll simplify this a little bit. There we go. So we'll grab from slots 1 through 9 and place something on each of these platforms. Then forget what we did, and then choose a new input from slot 0. And it always use slots, even if you're just doing one slot. It may accept. No, yeah, slots, always slots. So input anything from the input chest, slot 0. Output anything to the enchanter, which is the thing in the middle. And then we have one more loop down here that just keeps trying to take from the enchanter and stick it in the out barrel. That's it. So as long as the thing that goes in the middle in the enchanter is in slot 0, everything else in the recipe will just go on to one of the random platforms. And then it'll only pull out the output. The enchanter's output and input are separate, so you can't pull out whatever this you just put in. It'll only have something to pull out when it's done. So it likes that. So in this pattern provider, we place the pattern, which you can see has, to make one source cell housing, you take one item cell housing. That is first. Let's go here and go to the pattern encoder here. Place that here. All right, so now we can see what's in the pattern. You have to put the center item of the craft in the first slot here. And then everything else can be stacked up or spread out in the rest of the craft. And then the output, print that. So as long as that one is first, it should always be first when it goes into the barrel. And that way it goes into the center. So let's go up above. This doesn't need source to operate. Let us ask for one of these. I already have one in there. Start. Oh, look at that. It's all done. It's grabbing it, or it's making it, and it's done. Autocraft complete. ME source cell housing. That has been automated. And any recipe we want, we can just place in there. It doesn't need, the recipe is not in the script like some of the other things we've done and will do. This is a generalized recipe. So as long as you place that first one in there, it's good. And that is the end of that chest. So this is automating the first few things of Ars Nouveau. And I think we need to call it there. We'll do the next one, which is Britannia, in the next episode. So, this is Nonsanity signing out. Take care, be good, and see you next time.